What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, coming to you with a quick video. Make sure you check out my website, analysisplayground.com. It'll be in the comment section below. Also, the description there you can find NBA tributes, highlights, rookie analysis, summer league analysis, and NBA breakdowns. Also, hot topics and everything basketball. What is good, YouTube? I'm back with another video about the Toronto Raptors. Just because they finished second, they actually made it to the Eastern Conference Finals for once, even though Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan struggled in the playoffs. Specifically, that Indiana series, Kyle Lowry struggled in the Cavaliers series to a certain extent because he consistently didn't score a lot of points. He had a lot of 10-point games, a lot of 11-point games. He really wasn't a dominant force in the playoffs. For this team to win a championship, they're going to need a lot more out of their backcourt because they don't really pass to nobody else. They don't rely on DeMar Carroll. They don't rely on Jonas Valanciunas. They don't pass the ball enough. They don't have enough ball movement in general. They're very stagnated. They're very isolation heavy. And this team, for it to win a championship, they're going to have to play more like a team, and they're going to have to get more scoring efficiency out of their backcourt. This team has terrible efficiency out of their backcourt. You can go back and look at the playoff numbers. I was surprised they beat Indy, but they only beat them by 6 points. Anyway, because they almost lost in the first round again if it wasn't for the free throws and Paul George missing that shot. But with that being said, this team has to rise up to the occasion and actually get the job done, because this team has been very, very underperforming since they had got together, because a lot of the times they lost in the first round. This year they got farther, but they still struggled in the first round, and the East is only getting harder because, like I said, the East actually finished better than the West last year, which means it's going to get tougher for them to make it to the finals because they got to go through better teams. So with that being said, it's only going to get tougher. This team struggles with consistency, offensively especially. Their defense isn't as bad as people think. They actually is a decent defensive team for the last couple years. That's mostly what's been keeping them in games, was the ability to guard as a team. They got very athletic players in the front court and in the back court, mobile players, I should say, and they can get down and try to stop players. But with that being said, this team has to overall improve their offensive intensity if they really want to take that next step. Another thing they're going to have to take in that step is passing the ball to their other glue pieces that makes the team work, which is Jonas Valanciunas and DeMar Carroll. They don't utilize these players that much. I know DeMar Carroll was injured, but even when he was healthy, they didn't really see that much out of him. He didn't really score that many points. He didn't really show no streaks of goodness. Like, he didn't give us that shine. Like, oh, he could actually work in this team, or oh, look how good he's actually is. He didn't give us nothing to look forward to last year. He was injured and he didn't really show no flashes of greatness. I know he was getting better and better in Atlanta, but as far as it goes for Toronto, he didn't show no signs of improvement. He actually showed signs of regressing, but they still made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, that's actually a good thing to me, that if he can continue to get better, even though he's at an older age, if he can just become a spot-up shooter and a decent driver, he can open up their passing and they open up their easy buckets, because DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry are already decent playmakers for their age and for their career. They decent playmakers off the dribble and just in general. And DeMar Carroll can add that third ball handler that can drive to the basket off spot up threes, because they can close out hard and he can get to the basket, get to the free throw line, or he can just knock down a spot up three. That's 15 to 18 points a game that he can get off wide open mid-range, wide open threes, and wide open layups or free throws. So with that being said, that's a lot of points to help you win, where you can depend on Kyle Lowry to get 20, DeMar to get 20, and DeMar Carroll to get 15 to 18, and Jonas Valanciunas to get the last 15, and then your bench come in and do what they're supposed to do and add that extra 30 points or at least 20 points. You looking at a lot of points on the board. And their offense has just been a biggest downfall because they just so inconsistent and so inefficient that they actually help themselves lose more than they win, because They just can't consistently score the basketball against great teams. And that's what happens in the playoffs. You're not playing against the bad teams anymore. You're actually playing against only playoff great teams is basically what you're playing against, besides the 8th seed or the 7th, where they actually is getting better. Like I said, in the East, they actually getting better in those seeds too. So the Toronto Raptors, they're going to start utilizing their whole team, or they're going to continue to fall short of expectations, because they've been finishing in the top 3 seeds and even the 2nd seed for the last couple seasons, and they just now hit expectations. But like I said, they almost lost to Indiana, who was a 7th seed. So this team has to really dive into what they need to do. They really need to make this move, because like I said, the East is getting better. So it's going to be harder to get farther and farther in the playoffs. So if they want to get this peak, and Kyle Lowry is actually 30, DeMar Carroll heading to 30, DeMar DeRozan isn't getting any younger. So this team is going like the Clippers. Is either they're going to get the job done, or they're going to fall short of expectations, which means not win a championship. They got close, but close is not enough. You have to win a championship, and this team has finally got where they had to go, but the East is getting better, and they might not be able to get any further in the future. So right now it's championship or bust, because they actually got the right pieces around this core, but they have to perform better in general. But with that being said, we're going to have to see, can they do it? Because Cleveland, they still didn't sign J.R. Smith. They lost Delhi. They lost Mozgov. So they actually got worse than they was last year, unless they make a trade or sign somebody that's released in the mid-season. Unless other than that, the Cleveland Cavaliers actually got worse, and the Raptors actually played them close last year, but they lost in 6. So that may be their breaking point, the fact that J.R. Smith still didn't sign with Cleveland, and Mozgov and Delhi is gone, even though they didn't really use Mozgov that much. But he is a key player, because he can rebound, shoot free throws, and shoot mid-range, and actually was a good post-up player. He was basically like an all-around offensive center, and he had decent defense. And that's another good body that they lost, because he's actually a quality NBA player. So with that being said, and it actually hurts, because if Tristan Thompson get injured, they don't have to rely on Channing Frye, who's not really known as a rebounder or not really known as the defensive player. So that can hurt them in the end, not having another big body in Mozgov that actually is a productive big. So with that being said, I'm going to end the video right there. I have the Toronto Raptors finishing 2nd again, but I just don't know how they're going to do in the playoffs, because they offense is just stagnated, and they always fail in the end when it comes to offense. So we're going to have to see. I like the roster. I like the things they did to put it together. I like the pieces together. I want to see more out of DeMar Carroll. I want to see them give the ball a little bit more to Jonas Valanciunas so he can get more points. He's a decent shooter. From the free throw, he's a decent post-up player, and he's a decent mid-range shooter. I would like them to utilize him more, to have more versatility in their offense. And like I said, I want DeMar Carroll to become that third ball handler that can take the ball off the dribble when he gets closed out at the three-point line, knock down those three-point shots, knock down those mid-range shots, and hopefully add a fadeaway game for his post-up so he can be more dynamic offensively, because right now he's just a one-way player, which means he only can really shoot spot-up shots. He was doing more, but after he got injured, he really regressed. So I would like to see him go back to the Atlanta DeMar that can put in 15 to 16 points or 18 to 20 depending on the night, or even more than that. And then we can really see how much of a threat the Raptors will be. But right now it's now or never for the Raptors, because all their players are only getting older, and they actually hit their ceiling to a certain extent this year, because we never know what's going to happen in the years to come, and what trades and what free agents going to sign where. So they either going to have to make their move these next 2-3 years, because Kyle Lowry is 30 and he is a free agent this year, coming this up and coming free agency. So we're going to really have to see if this team going to put it together this year or next year, or they just going to be like the Clippers. They either got the talent now, or they're going to have to rebuild right back up. And that's not the route you want to go. You want to win a championship and be a contender as long as possible. But they got DeMar locked up. They got Jonas locked up. They got DeMar Carroll locked up. And we're going to have to see. But like I said, these players are aging. They're not getting any younger. They're almost in their 30s. So let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Basketball Analysis signing out. Let me know the video you guys want to see next. And this is me signing out.